Whole lot of progress at the Giga Semi factory, though increasingly it's hard to spot because it's now taking place primarily inside. There's a little more footage to cover, so we're going to do that. I got my buddy Mark here from the Tesla Life in true mugshot fashion. He's getting a passport photo right now, but he's taking time out to join us. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozza. So, Mark, we've got a little bit of footage to show, and of course, we don't show footage. I had Zanegler on the channel this week. This is the iWest factory, as people have now taken to calling it on account of us.
That's cool.
It's fun. I appreciate that people are actually watching and enjoying the videos. That's the whole point. Yeah, it's one of the points. We've got a lot of points. But I had a chance to talk with Zanegler this week. I may have links in the description. If not, you can find them. But we did a two-part series. Only one part is out so far. And we're talking about what is known. And then the second part is what is speculated. This is my first time having a chat with him. It was great. It was great to connect a face to the name.
Yeah.
So what we've got going on is some trenching. Not very exciting, but, you know, something you need to do. We are seeing some windows taking, the walls are taking shape, but also the windows are taking shape. These were from the render where they wanted them angled like that. Thumbs up for Zane. Please check him out. Show him the love.
That is interesting that the render had those slanted windows down. Now they're here. But what do you think that represents? To me, that kind of looks like the a bullet train. Like
It does.
like you've got the multiple cars being the multiple windows, but just a little bit different.
Yeah, it looks like one of those city trams kind of things.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if not everything is a clue, but we love to speculate.
Little Easter eggs.
Yeah, and when we do speculate, we, qualify it as such. The stamping pit, looking good. Tons more rebar. These are big projects. They take a little bit of time. I imagine by now, this was shot on January 30th. I imagine by the next week's footage, we'll just see more of the same, more pores, more, that's a person in that picture.
Yeah.
That is, whew, what we are going to see less and less of is visual progress. We may drop down to every couple weeks on this series because there's only so much we can do. At some point, speculation becomes silly. Very little left to close off, though. And I don't know what equipment's been loaded in yet. Surely some. So maybe we'll cover it next week. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys have anything specific you'd like us to address or call out, please do that. We will get into questions momentarily. Anything you wanted to say about this?
Yeah, I got an anonymous tip recently and thought I would share. Not going to share where it came from, but it was anonymous, wants to remain anonymous.
Okay.
The quote is, there's something very interesting happening at the Semi factory this week. You will see the drone footage, so be on the lookout for it. So just a tip for what may be coming. Again, it's anonymous, not really sure where it came from, but got that message.
Okay. So if you're at the factory, you can send those tips to me and Mark. Apparently we'll protect your identity. Interestingly, I asked Zane when he's flying, and he had told me that he's not flying this week. So my question would be, and I said, oh, why is that? And I don't remember what he said, but it was like long story or no big deal or just isn't. I don't remember because didn't seem important at the time.
Right.
My question to you, Mark, is A, did they ask him not to fly? And B, does this mean equipment? What does this mean?
Well, if we look back to Tesla's recent history with Joe Tegmeyer, we know that Tesla every once in a while reaches out to Joe and asks him not to fly.
It's not just Joe. It's, as far as I know, all the drone pilots are sometimes asked not to fly. I don't know if Zane has that kind of relationship with them. I know in the past it's been pretty adversarial. So I don't know if that's a relationship they have. If they did ask him not to fly, and he's honoring that. That is a good thing. That is just smart business. Keep your friends close and
Yep.
your enemies closer. I don't know, but Zane is a friend. He is. I don't know him well enough to say, "Hey, man, give me all the skinny," but maybe I'll get there. So, no flight this week, and something is happening. So, it's got to be load in of equipment, doesn't it? What else could it be?
Well, we knew
I
that it was getting close to that point, anyways. We knew that based on the floors being completed, the walls being put up, we knew that some equipment was going to start to move in. So maybe that's the milestone that someone's talking about here. I'm not sure.
um that would make sense. It could also be that they're moving equipment over from the pilot line to that building. It could also be that there would be a number of cabs outside that would be of interest to parties. Uh, huh. Interesting to think about. By the way, when Joe disclosed that he'd been asked not to fly, he said that at a presentation that we recorded and broadcast at Texas maybe a year ago. And then after the camera was done, I said, "So what was packed in? What did they ask you not to shoot?" And he said, "I have no idea because I wasn't there." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, that
right,
makes sense.
right." And it could have even been, "Don't fly on this day. We're shooting the video for of the Model Y with the horns on the hood jumping." It
Right.
could have been it could have been that, because I don't remember the timeline. Um, it's okay. That's fine. I am at peace with that. We are not entitled to all the information at all the times. If you do have inside information, hey man, I don't know what's going on. Give me a call. What's up? Uh, yeah, and we're about to get into the question part. This is the fun part. This is where we have the most fun. And as a reminder, this is Mark's temporary setup. He will be in a more formal space next week and thereafter. And if we have problems with lighting or sound or whatever, we
We'll
can
work on it. Don't worry about it. We'll
we can
work
di-
on it.
we can dial it in from there. The sound this week I think is pretty fantastic. In the comments, how good is it? I think it's great. So of course we're going to go over the questions from the video, which I think we need to definitely.
Got a good one there.
Yeah, yeah, we had some fun last week. Let's get to it. I'm going to show the comments in a different way this time, because I think it's easier than scrolling. I completely agree. We need to get Zanegler more support and get you in the factory to map progress. Boy, I don't know about mapping progress, but I'll take any access I can get. And in the videos I made with Zane that have at least one has already come out. The other one might not come out for another couple of days. I'm
Do you
pushing,
think
man.
that Zangler looks for maybe the opportunity of flying in an open door and buzzing out an open window?
They did. There was a guy who did that in Berlin. That was ill advised. Don't do that, please. Let's see. This comment is great. It's talking about how they just put a metal tape along buried pipes to find them. So you can find buried plastic pipes with a metal detector. Get into a cast. I made a joke about that's, breaking a leg. Love to watch us talking about the iWest factory.
There we
Yes,
go.
it's going to come back. Another good day. Yes. Thanks for the info and humor. What? You provide a useful service. Let's tool the interior and start production this year. I mean,
What's going to happen?
it took 5 months for substantial completion of the building. That was in the video that we just showed pictures from. It took 5 months for substantial completion. I think we're going to see production this year.
Yep. It's
And
going to ramp from there, but it's definitely production is going to happen this year, would be my guess as well.
by the way, for those who haven't seen behind the curtain, if I just click this, it just replies this. I don't generally do those. I think they're a little impersonal, and sometimes they're really wrong. But sometimes they're really wrong. Maybe Tesla could get into battery electric train market. What do you think of that?
We've talked about the trains many,
We
many
have.
times.
We have.
It's just not there for size and weight. There's an issue. It can only go so far. And right now, economics say it doesn't work, based on battery sizes, based on weight of train, based on its requirements. It's just
Yeah.
not there.
We're not saying it can't work in like city applications, commuter rail, for example, where it could recharge a little bit at each station. The problem with that becomes every single contract needs different things and it has different requirements. There is no cookie cutter for that. And that drives up cost, complexity, time to deliver, all that. Um, when you say do trains, what we think is long haul freight. And at present, battery density is not sufficient for that application. Uh, this is a good one, and it has a question mark, which is helpful for questions. In reference to Tesla drivers turning off FSD to check emails, why couldn't they allow them to take their eyes off the road for longer times on roads with low traffic and require more attention when coming to an intersection? I'd be very curious to hear what is thought of this idea.
Yeah, slippery slope.
Yeah,
You've got a thing where you're trying to make sure that the driver's paying full attention because they could be asked to take over at any given time, even if it's a low traffic situation. The vehicle may require you to take over control, and the last thing they want to do is find out that that person was engaged in replying to a lengthy email, or is doing something mentally strenuous and not thinking about taking over the car at a moment's notice.
if you choose to disengage FSD to engage in reckless behavior, that's beyond the car's control. The car will still try an emergency brake or apply corrective steering, but that doesn't mean it's just going to work. You still need to be in charge. If you choose to do something dumb, you have that choice. But I would say on this one, unsupervised is coming. We just have to wait, and let's all be diligent and vigilant. Until then, you and I have surely seen, as everyone out there watching has seen, drivers on the road texting.
Yeah.
It is not safe. Please stop. And of course, this is just reiterating logically, they'll supply semi cab in chassis form for other specialized applications. Yeah, of course, I agree. Let's see. You could you could add Canada and Mexico unless you really upset them. Yeah, Roger, we're we're not gonna do it. Uh, thank you for another informative and most of all entertaining video. Any rural juror with your angry dozen break a leg. I don't know for those who have seen it. 30 Rock. Jenna was in a movie called The Rural Juror. And everyone's like, I don't know what it's called. It's too late. It's been so long. I can't ask now. iWes looking good.
Oh, another iOS. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the 7th month, Brian rested. Oh, how nice that would be. I would welcome rest. Uh-huh. Yes, lots of kudos for my 12 Angry appearance coming up. It's going to be, a lot of fun. I did, of course, refer to it with Dr. Know-It-All the other day as the Joe Dicka Dickheads of Jurisprudence, but I don't know how well that would go over on a poster. I think it would probably
I don't
work
think that
fine.
would be a winner.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is the self-driving van from Time Cop the closest thing we've seen in cinema to the Robotaxi? Oh, so I went back and watched that movie. It is terrible, but it was a nice walk down memory lane. A lot of very irresponsible time travel, and as a part-time unconfirmed time traveler, I can tell you that's not how it works. A lot of splits, a lot more splits in their time travel than I realized. Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Yeah.
well known for that maneuver.
Signature move.
He
Yeah.
will. Hey, ordering a latte. You know what this calls for? It does. It does. Yeah. And
So what did you think about that autonomous car in the movie though? What did you think?
it was just a van space. It was just a van space that, and I didn't really notice so much that it was driving itself so much as that it was armored. But yeah, it was a good catch. I'm trying to think of other ones I've seen like it, but really that one is closer. And I would say Cybercab is, of course, closest to Johnny Cab,
Johnny Cab. Yep. From
without a
the
doubt.
Schwarzenegger movie. Yep.
Yeah. And Robovan also looks a lot like the big robot transporter from iRobot. Uh,
That's true.
and
Yep.
I feel like they might have sued over it or something silly. But guys, it's not that close at all. It's a pretty it's a toaster. It's a Art Deco toaster. Guys, do me a favor if you would head over to Mark's channel, see what the Tesla life is up to there, having some fun over there with Patrick and Casey. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do the thing you do. If you could maybe show some support, that would be tremendously helpful. By all means, not required. You can always subscribe, like, do all that. I've got, I think, 4 referrals left, 3 or 4 referrals left before I max out. Would be wonderful if I could do that. And you can support the other ways. But really, all I need you to do is stay tuned, stay juicy, and remember that I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.